What if I told you that some of gospel music's most powerful voices, the very ones that lifted spirits and moved souls, are no longer with us, and many fans never even knew they were gone? For decades, these singers filled churches, concert halls, and hearts with songs of faith and hope, becoming the soundtrack of generations. But behind the harmonies and hallelujahs lies a bittersweet truth. Some of gospel's greatest legends have quietly left this world, their passing overshadowed or forgotten. From timeless choir leaders to chart-topping solo artists, their music still echoes, even if their stories have faded away. These are 30 gospel legends you didn't know passed away. 30. Bishop Rance Allen. Bishop Rance Allen's voice was pure fire and spirit, the kind that could move a room with one note. Known for blending gospel with funk and soul, his music reached hearts beyond the church walls. From Something About the Name Jesus to countless performances that left crowds in tears, he proved that gospel could groove without losing its power. Even after his passing, his recordings still make listeners close their eyes and feel heaven close by. His energy remains unmatched in gospel history. 29. Mighty Clouds of Joy, Members. The Mighty Clouds of Joy turned traditional gospel into something bold, fresh, and full of rhythm. Their stage presence, flashy suits, and harmonies brought excitement to church music in a way no one expected. With hits like Mighty High, they reached audiences across genres while staying true to their faith. Losing members over the years felt like losing pieces of the gospel's foundation. Still, their sound continues to inspire new artists to push boundaries while keeping the message of hope alive. 28. Keith Wonderboy Johnson. Keith Wonderboy Johnson brought gospel joy wherever he went. His upbeat songs like Let Go and Let God made every listener feel like shouting in praise. He had the rare gift of mixing old-school church soul with modern energy, connecting young and old alike. His sudden passing shocked fans across the world, leaving a silence where celebration once lived. His music still plays in homes and choirs, keeping his lively spirit alive every time a hand claps or a heart lifts. 27. Albertina Walker's Protégés. Albertina Walker didn't just sing gospel, she raised a generation of it. Known as the godmother of gospel, she nurtured voices that carried her influence far and wide. Her protégés learned how to pour emotion into every lyric, turning worship into art. Though many of them never reached her fame, their sound echoed her passion for faith and purpose. Through their music, Albertina's legacy still breathes, reminding everyone that gospel isn't just sung, it's lived. 26. Jesse Dixon. Jesse Dixon's voice carried power, passion, and warmth that could touch anyone's soul. Known for his energetic stage presence, he brought gospel music to audiences across the world. His collaborations with Paul Simon and countless church choirs helped spread gospel beyond its roots. On stage, he moved with joy. Off it, he lived with humility and faith. Even years after his passing, his songs still fill churches and concert halls with praise. Jesse proved that the gospel could unite hearts across every border. 25. Inez Andrews. Inez Andrews had a voice that soared to impossible heights. Her hit Lord, Don't Move the Mountain became an anthem of strength and perseverance. Known for her signature high notes and unmatched delivery, she inspired countless young singers to find their voice in gospel. She sang from her heart, always blending power with deep emotion. Though her earthly voice may be gone, her music continues to lift spirits every time it's played. Inez was truly one of gospel's unforgettable queens. 24. Vanessa Bell, Armstrong's early peers. Before gospel became mainstream, powerful women were singing their truth in small churches and community choirs. These were Vanessa Bell Armstrong's peers, the ones who carried raw faith in every note. They didn't chase fame, they chased the Spirit. Their harmonies shaped the sound that would later take over radio and TV. Though many of their names faded with time, their influence stayed in every church melody sung today. Their stories remind us that greatness doesn't always seek the spotlight. 23. Reverend James Moore. Reverend James Moore's voice could make a congregation rise to its feet and cry all at once. His emotional delivery made every lyric feel personal, every note full of fire. Songs like Yes, Lord, Yes became timeless favorites because of his heartfelt passion. Though he faced illness later in life, he never stopped singing praises. His courage and dedication left an imprint that continues to inspire choirs everywhere. Reverend Moore's music wasn't just heard, it was deeply felt. 22. Thomas A. Dorsey. Thomas A. Dorsey turned his pain into praise. After losing his wife and child, he wrote, "Precious Lord, Take My Hand," a song that would comfort generations. Before him, gospel music wasn't even recognized as a genre. He gave it form, emotion, and soul. Through his compositions and influence, church music transformed into something heartfelt and healing. Every modern gospel song carries a piece of his genius. His work laid the foundation for everything the gospel became afterward. 21. Bishop Walter Hawkins' collaborators behind. Bishop Walter Hawkins' success stood a circle of singers and musicians who helped shape his groundbreaking sound. Their harmonies, arrangements, and spirit turned worship into an unforgettable experience. These collaborators rarely got the spotlight, yet their fingerprints are on some of gospel's most cherished albums. They proved that teamwork could make praise sound heavenly. Though many have passed, their creative energy still lives in every Hawkins melody played today. A reminder that behind every star is a choir of believers. 20. Reverend Paul Jones. Reverend Paul Jones wasn't just a singer, he was a soul who lived the message he sang. His most famous song, "I Won't Complain," became more than a gospel hit. It was a testimony of faith through pain. Born and raised in Houston, Texas, Jones was known for his humble spirit and deep devotion to ministry. Even when life tested him, he chose gratitude over bitterness, a theme that resonated in every note he sang. His tragic death in the late 90s shocked the gospel community, cutting short a life of incredible promise. Yet his voice still echoes across churches today, reminding listeners that praise isn't about perfection. It's about trust, even when things fall apart. Every time "I Won't Complain" is sung, it feels like Paul Jones is right there, urging everyone to keep the faith and thank God no matter the storm. 19. Darrell Coley. Darrell Coley's voice was like no other, smooth, rich, and powerful enough to glide through any note with grace. He blended jazz, gospel, and soul so effortlessly that each song felt like a spiritual experience. His classic, "He's Preparing Me," still sends chills to anyone who hears it. Even while battling illness, he continued to sing with joy and gratitude. Darrell reminded the world that gospel isn't just about sound, it's about strength, faith, and finding beauty in life's hardest moments. 18. Reverend Timothy Wright. Reverend Timothy Wright could turn any church service into a celebration. With songs like "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus," he inspired praise across the nation. His powerful voice and commanding presence earned him the title, the Godfather of Gospel. When tragedy struck in a car accident that claimed his life, the gospel world fell silent. But his spirit never faded. Every choir that lifts its voice with passion carries a spark of Reverend Wright's fire and faith inside its harmony. 17. Thomas Whitfield. Thomas Whitfield was more than a singer. He was a musical architect. His gift for arranging voices created a lush, emotional sound that reshaped modern gospel. Through songs like I'm encouraged he brought sophistication and soul together in perfect unity. His work influenced generations of artists, from choirs to solo performers. Though his life ended too soon, his music continues to echo in churches around the world. Thomas turned gospel into both art and ministry, something few could ever match. 16. Tremaine Hawkins' contemporaries. Tremaine Hawkins rose to fame alongside powerful gospel voices that history often forgets. These artists, filled with the same passion and anointing, helped shape the bold, soulful gospel sound of their time. They faced challenges, balancing church tradition with a new modern spirit, yet their devotion never wavered. Their songs filled choirs, inspired young singers, and pushed gospel toward its golden era. Though they may not have gained the same fame, their music carried the same divine spark of truth. 15. Shirley Caesar's Sisters in Song. Before Shirley Caesar became the First Lady of Gospel, she shared stages and studios with talented women whose names the world rarely remembers. These singers poured their hearts into every hymn and harmony, helping create the foundation that Shirley later built upon. They sang through struggles, through joy, and through faith, proving that ministry came before fame. Their devotion helped gospel blossom into the global force it is today, and their spirit still sings through every note of her music. 14. Edwin Hawkins. Edwin Hawkins took a simple church song and turned it into a worldwide anthem. "Oh Happy Day" didn't just change gospel, it changed music history. His mix of choir power and pop appeal brought gospel into homes that had never heard it before. Edwin opened doors for countless artists, showing that faith-filled songs could cross every boundary. Even decades later, his arrangements feel alive and joyful. His music didn't just celebrate happiness, it created it in every listener's heart. 13. Walter Hawkins. Walter Hawkins brought a warmth and richness to gospel that made every note feel like a prayer. His album, Love Alive, became one of the most celebrated records in gospel history, blending soul, R&B, and worship in perfect harmony. With his gentle voice and heartfelt lyrics, he proved that gospel could be both deeply spiritual and beautifully modern. Even after his passing, songs like "Thank You, Lord" continue to fill churches with emotion. Walter's music still comforts and uplifts like sunlight through stained glass. 12. Andraé Crouch. Andraé Crouch changed everything. His songwriting brilliance made gospel relatable to people who had never stepped into a church. With hits like "Soon and Very Soon" and "The Blood Will Never Lose Its Power," he reached across generations and genres. His music appeared in movies, pop collaborations, and choirs around the world. He wasn't afraid to experiment, blending faith with creativity in unforgettable ways. Today, his work still echoes through gospel and pop alike, reminding everyone that true faith connects every heart. 11. Dottie Rambo. Dottie Rambo's pen was her pulpit. She wrote over 2,000 songs, each one rich with emotion, faith, and storytelling. From "We Shall Behold Him" to "He Looked Beyond My Fault," her lyrics carried comfort and conviction in equal measure. Her life wasn't easy, yet she turned her struggles into songs that healed others. Every line she wrote came from lived faith, not performance. Even after her passing, Dottie's music still plays in countless churches, proof that her voice never truly faded. 10. LaShun Pace. LaShun Pace's voice wasn't just powerful, it was divine. As one of the famed anointed Pace sisters, she stood out for her emotional range and spirit-filled performances that could bring entire congregations to tears. Her hit, "I Know I've Been Changed," remains one of gospel's most soul-stirring songs. Behind the spotlight, she faced deep personal struggles, yet she kept singing with faith that never wavered. Even after her passing, her voice still feels alive, strong, sacred, and filled with heavenly fire that continues to lift hearts today. 9. Willie Mae Ford Smith. Willie Mae Ford Smith wasn't just a singer. She was a teacher of spirit. Her fiery delivery, expressive gestures, and heartfelt tone helped define what gospel singing truly means. She trained many who would later become gospel stars, passing on her deep understanding of ministry through music. Her performances were raw, emotional, and unforgettable. Though history doesn't always mention her name, her fingerprints are all over the gospel's foundation. Every passionate choir performance owes something to her mighty influence. 8. Albertina Walker. Albertina Walker earned her title as the Queen of Gospel by lifting others while shining herself. She founded the Caravans, a group that launched stars like Shirley Caesar and Inez Andrews. Her voice carried strength, love, and wisdom, each note full of conviction. Even in her later years, she performed with the same power that made her legendary. Through mentoring, teaching, and leading, Albertina shaped the gospel's future. Her spirit still guides countless singers who step on stage with faith in their hearts. 7. Dorothy Love Coates. Dorothy Love Coates wasn't afraid to mix faith with fire. Her songs weren't just for Sunday mornings, they carried messages of strength and equality during the civil rights era. With her group, the original Gospel Harmonettes, she delivered powerhouse performances that stirred souls and sparked courage. Her raw, raspy voice made every lyric feel urgent and real. Dorothy didn't just sing about freedom, she lived it. Through her music, she turned gospel into both a cry for hope and a call for change. 6. Reverend James Cleveland. Reverend James Cleveland revolutionized gospel with his bold arrangements and full choir sound. Known as the King of Gospel, he made worship grand and powerful. His work with the Southern California Community Choir set a new standard for church music. Songs like Peace Be Still remain classics that still bring audiences to tears. Cleveland taught that gospel could be both sophisticated and deeply spiritual. His influence shaped nearly every modern gospel artist who followed in his footsteps. 5. Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Long before rock and roll existed, Sister Rosetta Tharpe was electrifying audiences with her guitar and voice. She fused gospel with blues, swing, and early rock energy, something no one had dared to do. Her joyful spirit and fearless performances broke barriers for women and inspired legends like Elvis Presley and Little Richard. Though the church once criticized her boldness, history now calls her a pioneer. Sister Rosetta's music still crackles with life, proving that faith and rhythm belong together. 4. Roberta Martin. Roberta Martin's arrangements gave gospel choirs their modern sound. She introduced smooth harmonies and polished performances while keeping every song deeply spiritual. Her group, the Roberta Martin Singers, became one of the most respected in history. She trained voices that went on to lead the genre for decades. Every time a choir lifts its voice in unity, her legacy rings out. Roberta taught that gospel could be both disciplined and divine, a balance few have ever mastered as beautifully. 3. Sally Martin. Sally Martin was one of the first to see gospel as more than just church music. It was a message for the world. Known as the Mother of Gospel, she worked alongside Thomas A. Dorsey to organize choirs and spread the new gospel sound nationwide. Her fiery stage presence and deep conviction inspired generations of believers. Sally's leadership helped turn gospel into a respected and celebrated art form. Without her drive and determination, the gospel world wouldn't be what it is today. 2. Clara Ward. Clara Ward brought glamour and polish to gospel without losing its soul. Leading the famous Ward singers, she turned every performance into an unforgettable experience filled with passion and precision. Her influence reached far beyond gospel, inspiring artists like Aretha Franklin. Clara's strength and showmanship redefined what a gospel performance could be. Even decades later, her recordings still fill listeners with awe. She proved that gospel could be both holy and thrilling, an emotional bridge between heaven and earth. 1. Mahalia Jackson. Mahalia Jackson's voice could lift hearts and calm storms. With songs like "Move On Up a Little Higher," she brought gospel into homes across America and gave hope during dark times. Her performances at civil rights events and churches alike carried divine power. She sang not for fame, but for faith, and the world felt it. Mahalia showed that one voice, filled with conviction, can change history. Her spirit still echoes wherever gospel is sung, reminding all what true praise sounds like. Their voices may have fallen silent, but their songs still live on, echoing through choirs, radio stations, and memories that refuse to fade. These gospel legends gave the world more than music. They gave faith, healing, and hope when people needed it most. But how many of their stories have been lost with time? Which of these voices touched your soul the most? If their music ever lifted your spirit or carried you through hard times, make sure their legacy never fades. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more untold stories of the artists who changed the world with their faith and their sound.